If you want to continue to follow our adventure, click subscribe. So you don't miss anything, click the bell notification. Well, dangers of walking out in the woods. Yeah, deadfall is a big one. Seems like anytime I go out in the woods, you know, things just break open or fall over. Look at that big old tree. It's laying on the... Deadfall is just a really dangerous situation when you're walking in the woods, and you need to always be looking up. Try not to walk under dead limbs and dead trees. It's amazing how many times I'll be walking in the woods and something fall right next to me. I mean, within a few feet. But that brings me to today's topic about dangers of walking in the woods. You know, I actually don't walk in the woods in the summertime. It's just too dangerous. There's just so much going on in the woods in Missouri. When I was a little kid, I learned this very young. I grew up right next to the woods, actually. Summertime, we'd be playing out in the woods all the time. And my first real experience of when I realized, you know what, playing in the woods in the summertime isn't a good idea, was I laid down on this rock. And when I got up, I realized I had laid down on a snake. It was just a little bitty thing. I don't know what it was. It was brown. I don't know. Probably a copperhead. I don't know. But it really, at that point, started to ingrain in my head that walking in the woods just isn't a good idea. I can remember one time riding my my bicycle in the summer, just in the yard. We were just circling around, and I ran over a snake. Just terrified me. I don't know, I was probably in 8th grade, and we were, my friends and I were running around in the woods, and it was early spring. I would say the temperature was 55, 60 degrees. It wasn't overly cold, but it wasn't hot either. I wouldn't have thought snakes would have come out at that time. And so anyway, we're out there in the woods, and we're playing this little combat game. And it was, you know, we were holding sticks and acting like, you know, we were pointing them at each other. And you see one of your friends, you say, okay, I got you. Well, I jumped down into this creek bed. I don't know, it was a 5-6 foot drop. And I didn't look down, I just jumped. And sure enough, I landed, and I was face to face, because, you know, I went down. I was face to face with this copperhead. He was coiled up. It was too cold for him to strike, but had it been any warmer, it would have been lights out for me. I mean, right there, it would have hit me in the face. Terrifying. I was working for my grandma one year. Again, probably 8th, 9th grade. And she was building a house, and long story, I won't get into the whole scenario. But it was time for lunch, and what I would do is I would run down the hill, and she'd come pick me up, and we'd go have lunch, and then she'd bring me back so I could work. Anyway, I was running down the hill. Literally, I was just running down the hill. And there was this cottonmouth stretched out across the road. I guess he was sunning. And I couldn't stop. I mean, I'm running. And I saw this cottonmouth. There was no options for me. I could not stop. So I jumped over him. And I could see it out of the corner of my eyes. He went to strike at me. Another time, different creek bed this time. We were going to go down and just swim in the water down at the creek. And my friends and I was going down first. And I jumped down into the bank. And someone said, "The ground is moving." Now, that is the second time in my life I've heard it. I'll tell you the other one in a little bit. I looked up, and what do you mean? And he said, "Snakes." And I looked down, and there was just tons of baby cottonmouths, water moccasins, whatever you want to call them. And they were just everywhere, and I'm right in the middle of them. I mean, I was just hopping out of there. I just couldn't get out of there fast enough. Just petrified me. I mean, it was just, Well, as an adult, of course, my wife, my daughter, and I were riding down the Katy Trail. Now, what a Katy Trail is it's an old railroad track they've taken out, and it goes clear across the state of Missouri. And it's a state park now. And you can ride your bike down it. Well, we decided we were going to head out for 60 mile round trip, a day trip. Go out 30 miles, eat lunch, come back. Now our daughter was ahead of us. My wife was second, and I was following them. And I hear my wife scream, "Snake!" as my daughter is riding right by this snake. It was a copperhead, poisonous snake, and it struck at her bicycle. I mean, fortunately, the snake was just striking to be striking. It didn't realize what it was striking at, so it hit the bike. Oh, now think about this. My daughter's on one side of the snake, we're on the other side of the snake, and we're having to put our bike in between us and the snake to get to the other side. And again, just that same summer, my wife, ex-wife actually, she liked to carve old wood, you know, deadfall. And we'd go out in the woods and look for old deadfall that she could carve into art projects. And we were on the ATV and we went down in the hill, and she said, "Oh, that's nice." And so I just jumped off the ATV and ran down there. And for the second time in my life, I just could not believe I was hearing the same words. The ground is moving. Those 3 words are just the most terrifying 3 words you can imagine. This time I didn't even have to think about what it was being said. I knew exactly what it meant. And I mean, I just couldn't get out of there fast enough. You know, I never did see any snake. I was up that hill on the ATV, out of there. And so I just don't walk in the woods at the summertime. So it makes wintertime a real pleasure to be able to walk in the woods. There's, you know, I don't like winter at all. I hate winter. But there's 2 things I really enjoy about winter: the snow and being able to walk in the woods. Thanks for watching. Click like if you like the video, and happy travels.